Hey y'all, what's up? Here's another story about nothing. So let me preface by saying this is going to be important towards the end of the story, so I'm going to put it out there. Today is a construct. Keep that in mind when I tell you the story, all right? So yesterday we had an employee. He just recently got his new service truck, and he was told by the manager that he should keep his truck locked. And I'm not sure if he meant keeping his truck locked while it was parked inside, keeping it locked while it was outside, or keeping it locked on the job site. But it was mentioned to him that he should keep his truck locked. So that's what he did. So we had one of the other guys that comes in a little bit earlier. And so when this guy comes into work, he sees that his truck was moved. And the other guy said that he had to move a piece of equipment. Well, seeing the size of the piece of equipment and the obstacles that he had in the shop, there wasn't a big deal for him to move it, and he didn't have to touch that guy's service truck. Needless to say, that wasn't the whole thing. But we all have a pretty abrasive sense of humor here. So, first thing I did was go over to mess with him. And what I did was, I said, hey, why did you move that machine? You had plenty of room to move over there. Why'd you have to move that one? And he started, and I did rib him a little bit, and he took it way too seriously. So he slams the hose down because he's in the wash bay cleaning the floor, and he tries to buck up in front of me and talking about, I don't know who you think you are. It's like, I know who I am. I don't have to think about shit. But just like the rest of us in this shop, I was just joking with you. And I'm sorry you took it that way. Look, I understand you're upset. And if it bothers you that much, I don't have to speak to you for the rest of today. Here's the thing. I've put this in other videos before. My alabaster-hued co-workers seem to think that when I'm talking to them in a voice that is loud enough for them to hear, they perceive that as yelling because this amplifies this. It was in another video, and it is what it is. He thought I was screaming at him, and I wasn't. I was just messing around with him, and I was speaking in a voice that was loud enough for him to hear. He was the one yelling. Do whatever. He doesn't have a sense of humor, obviously, when it comes to somebody messing with him, because he's done some ribbing to people and pranked a couple of people in this shop, but he can't take it when somebody else does it to him. And unfortunately, that made him very upset, and he wanted to try to throw down. Look, I'm not trying to lose my job, and you ain't trying to go to the hospital. So let's put the brakes on that one, dude. Now, I did another video about him, probably about, I want to say maybe a year ago. And he's the guy that always comes up to me and says, I know you don't, but. That bothers the hell out of me. So with me not talking to him, I really don't give a flying fuck. So, like I said, today is always in the present. Yesterday was in the past, and tomorrow never comes. And like I said, I ain't never got to talk to him for the rest of today. There you have it. Just another story about nothing. Y'all have a good one, dude. I forgot to add, he's the type of individual who has this personality that he has to run up the hall every time something bothers him. We like to handle things in-house here, but unfortunately, there's always that one. So we have given him a new nickname. He is now known as the Hall Monitor. Fuck that guy. Y'all have a good one. Deuces.